Thanks for coming out to my little talk about content creators. All right, we'll just start with who am I. I'm Mitch Cramer. I go by Heavy Eyed on YouTube. Just little like drinking coffee. I've got a weird accent because I grew up in New Zealand and Australia. And the content I kind of make is why people play games, the stories that we sort of create around our experiences with them. And I apologize, my slide's very basic. I was really sick when I was putting this together. I am a YouTube creator with 35,000 subscribers. I stream sometimes, and I tweet too much. What we will be going over today, what we can do for you as content creators, good ways to pick creators for your game, good ways to reach out, and some examples of this from me and other friends of mine who also make content. So yeah, the most basic thing is we introduce our community to your game, which sounds pretty basic, but community is the most important thing to most content creators. We really strive to build a strong community, and with our trust or their trust of us, our word can mean a lot. Just saying, hey, this game is great. Pairing the right creator is just a really good way to bring in new players. Even just a quick tweet saying we love this game can really send a good stamp. Anecdotally, from me, and I spoke to a few other content creators, anyone from like 10,000 to about 1 million subscribers, we do prefer reaching out, getting codes over getting paid to do it. It shows that we actually do want to just talk about this, not just for the money. And viewers are more likely to trust something that we just want to talk about rather than getting paid for. Not that getting paid is pretty good as a content creator, is our job, but ad reads, like I said, they're not bad and can lead to positive engagement, but they're for a lot bigger games. Smaller indie games, generally, we just love talking about them. How to pick creators. So those are some thumbnails that I have, just of videos I've made that have led to getting codes for similar types of games. I've made videos about Star Fox. It's actually despite the thumbnail, my favorite series of all time. And it led to me getting some codes for some Star Fox-like games, which I want to talk about once they come out. I've gotten a lot of interest from 3D platformers, and then I make a series called Indie Games You Missed, which drives a lot of emails and reaching out from small indie developers. So even though I have about 35,000 subscribers, which isn't that much in the grand scheme of things, I will get maybe 20 to 30 codes a week. So really picking through those is key, and I just want to find things I want to talk about that I think my community will engage with. And it's just, it's hard to pick. But, go through their backlog, look at their videos, see what they have, watch their streams. It can only take a couple of minutes just to get a vibe. And sometimes, it's YouTube, Twitch, there's some pretty not great people, and you don't want to associate your game with those kinds of creators. So just make sure you're picking the right ones that will reflect positively on your game. And I don't specifically do reviews. I do analysis and why we play games. So anything I will talk about, I'll find something that I can connect with a greater audience, which is a lot more niche and harder to reach out for. But it's just something worth looking into, seeing how a content creator makes their videos or streams or whatever, and see if that can work with them. One stream can really snowball, or a video. Rolled Out is like a Super Monkey Ball-like clone. It's just a neat little puzzle platformer arcade kind of game. So Ludwig has about 2 million followers, I think, on Twitch, and he streamed it because he played the game that it was based off of, because it wasn't continuing anymore, and that spiked. It really gave that game a lot of attention. Outer Wilds is another great example. A friend of mine talked about it, and then suddenly everyone wanted to make the video about it. It's just one one positive video or stream can really, snowball, because as content creators, we just love stealing ideas as well from our friends and other content creators. If something works, we will definitely steal it. So, and good ways to reach out. Email. It's probably the most effective. I cannot tell you, though, how important it is to just a slight personalization. I have my name on my Twitter, which is easy. People will just say Mitch, or anything even heavy-eyed is fine. But maybe half of my emails are Dear YouTuber. I don't open them. I will not. And a lot of the times, me and my friends will pass it around and be like, hey, did you get this email also? And it's just the same verbatim. And it just doesn't feel like we want to copy or cover that game, because it's just a carbon copy. Twitter is also really good. I've gotten a few contacts through there talking, but not everyone has their Twitter DMs open. Comments, do not comment on a video or in the stream, because it's just going to get lost in the lost in the source. And third-party firms like Evolve, Stride, I have really good relationships, and a lot of creators do, with those kinds of PR companies. If you personally don't have the time or manpower to go through it all, they will do it for you. Yeah, we're all fueled by ego. So if we are the ones to make a game popular, that's the greatest thing in the world. So we really, especially smaller to middle content creators, love talking about indie games, because we're the one to break that game and make it popular. It's just better than anything. And yeah, helping smaller devs feels really good as well. We just love talking about games at the end of the day. So anything we can do to help with that. And then, yeah, a friend of mine, Rasputin, talked about Shovel Knight and Yacht Club games, was very thankful. Tyrant's Realm, my friend Iron Pineapple talked about it, and they sent him an email as thanks, and just little things like that. We can really help build relationships and with each other. I think personally, the relationship between content creators and game developers is kind of lacking, and the more we can do to help each other, the better I think overall the industry will be, personally. And I think I am just going to take some questions, because I think that would be the best way to engage with this, if anyone has any questions.
So, when you say that the relationship between content creators and game developers could be better, some people have concerns about professional distance in that regard. So where do you think the line is?
Between a professional distance from developers and a content creator?
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard for me to say, because I am personal friends with a lot of game developers, and it's great. I think especially having an insight into the industry has given me a lot more to talk about and think on, rather than just making blanket statements about an industry that I don't work in. So I don't think there necessarily needs to be a professional distance. Maybe once money starts getting involved, with ad reads and things like that, then you don't want to have that line be very blurred. But outside of that, I think it's fine to be friends, encouraged even, with developers. Yeah.
For a new studio, or a studio that hasn't released a popular title yet, what sort of things would you look for when reading a contact email from a company you didn't recognize or didn't know about?
Yep.
What sort of things would make them stand out?
A good pitch. Even just screenshots or an idea, and saying why I'm getting sent this email. Easily open it, read it, give it a go. More than happy to, check it out, anything like that. Even if it's just hey, check this game out, and not a code. That will definitely put things on the radar and get people talking about it. Yeah, and just that little bit of personal touch. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there things that you would wish game developers put put in the game to make it easier for streamers to kind of show?
Yeah, things we would want in games as streamers and content creators, they're not so much things that game developers should be doing, more the platforms that we're on, things like DMCA, music, copyright, all that sort of stuff, but those are at the whim of Twitch and YouTube. So like, say your game has copyrighted music in it, a little switch that can just turn that off, and then we don't get in trouble. Outside of that, if it's like gory or nudity, switches to turn that off so we can comply with guidelines. Anything like that, we like. Cool. Yeah.
I don't know if you how much you have experienced this, but do you ever have people who reach out who are kind of like, I think you'd like this type of game, like in their kind of email or whatever, like this would fit with your channel, and is that something you're like, oh, I like this because it's more personal, that they know who I am, or is it getting into like it's a bit too much because you don't want to feel guilty if you don't want to like talk about it?
Yeah, the guilt feeling of not talking about it is something I have wrestled with a lot. And unfortunately, sometimes that is just the case of being too busy or having too much going on. And it's always worth a follow-up, I think. If they haven't replied to say why or nothing was ever made, just be like, hey, did you get a chance to check it out?
I mean, like, is there a sort of, can you feel like it gets a bit too far? Like, are you just like, I'd rather there be a bit more distance? If that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess it depends. If there's never been, contact, I have had like 5 follow-up emails and I'm like, okay, this is a bit much. I'm just busy. But other than that, I don't think it's harmful if it's kind of professionally done, not just like a, hey, we're like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Cool. Anything else? Yeah.
Do you target specific genres of games?
Me personally, no. I will cover anything. My end of the year roundup indie games you missed is usually just anything I liked. But yeah, it's a wide array of people who will talk about anything or very specific niches. So it's just finding exactly what you need. Cool. All right. I guess we'll call it there. Thank you. I appreciate it.